Memento Mori Stories, a podcast that reminds us that we will die and that celebrates the deeply personal and sometimes whimsical ways we create to remember death and cherish life. How we bridge the gap, the sometimes deep, painful, and soul-searching gap between life and death. How we remember those we have loved, the things we keep, the phrases we use, the foods we prepare, the places we hold dear. This is your invitation to listen generously to one such story. A Memento Mori story.
My dog was a Bichon Frise. His name was Snow, S-N-O, named and chosen by an 11-year-old girl. Wild to have a dog. She had chosen the breed because we've got allergies in the house. And anyway, he entered our life and changed everything. He had a different way of greeting, a different way of being with each person. So some people were for play, other people were for food. That was me. Getting those roles straight and then growing into them was a joy, I think, for all of us. An annoyance at times. I won't, pull any punches here. There were days it was really annoying being the person he found at 5 or 6 in the morning and needed to go out, needed a drink of water, needed to see what was going on. He was also a dog that I think he took very seriously his mission of being a dog ambassador. And by that I mean, if there was ever a person who came to see us who either didn't like dogs, was afraid of him, wasn't sure they wanted a dog in their home, he would win them over. And I can say there was a party that I gave one time for my book club, and Snow came, and he found the 2 women out of 12 of us who did not have dogs. One of them was a little bit afraid, and he was so sweet. Both of those women now have dogs, and they'll be the first ones to tell you it's because of my dog. He was just so outgoing and sweet and not intrusive, but of course he would let you rub his head. So that's a large part of the memory of him. Is he did impact a lot of lives that way. The stairs for him, they're a safe place because, as I said, they're within 10 feet of the front door, and nothing bad would typically happen to him there. He could sit there in the sun. He could look over our entire yard, see who was coming up the driveway, see who was coming up the stairs. So he was able to monitor from a safe distance. It was a safe place to sit. He knew that was a good place. That's where we told him to go instead of standing on a little wall or going anywhere else. Top of the steps is what we would tell him when we would come home and drive up in the car or, be bringing up groceries or anything like that. Top of the steps was just sort of code for, if you're there, I know where you are, and no one's going to get stepped on or trip or anything like that. So it was safe for us. It was safe for him. And it was, like I said, we spent, I don't even know how many hours just sitting on the steps or getting ready to go for a walk, and it was at the top of the steps. Yeah, walking up the steps at first, I kid you not, it was really hard. It was really, really hard, I'd say, for maybe the first week or two, because he wouldn't be, I'm going to make myself start crying now, he wouldn't be at the top of the steps waiting. And then I kind of came to the conclusion, it's like, look, this was a part of my life before you entered. It's still a part of my life. I can't be crying every time I'm going up my front steps. So I changed it just to, I feel like my heart expands to say, yeah, there was a beloved that would sit at the top of the steps. He is no longer here, but I can think of him. I can remember him. I've got the picture, and just sort of incorporate that into our lives. So our next dog, because of course we've been broken into being dog people, we'll teach him top of the steps too. It feels more like continuity now rather than an abrupt ending. And so I'd say that actually helped with the grief, just saying I'm going to take the walks that we always took. I'm going to sit at the top of the steps by myself and just sort of remember and smile, and feel happy that I was blessed with an amazing dog for many, many years. And we had our routines and we loved them. And now it's different, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't ever real. They've become more than steps in a way. They're a passage. Within 10 days of losing our dog, we also lost another beloved family member. And it helps to just realize, the sun still shines, the steps are still there, and our beloveds are gone. But life goes on, and I can't imagine either one of them, the dog or the man, wanting us to just mourn them forever and not move on and take the gifts that they gave us and use them. One word is probably tough. I'd have to say companionship. I'm a writer. I work alone. And so the days are very long and the work is hard. And so he was a wonderful companion. And he was also my walking buddy because he was the only person I would be able to walk with. And there was no need for conversation. We'd look in one another's eyes and say, oh, this is so great. His illness and his ultimate passing were something that I wrote about just on my blog. And it helped relieve my grief, but also opened me up to all the other people going through the same thing or having gone through the same thing. And they offered their own advice, like keep his leash, leave it hanging on the hook if you want, if you're comfortable doing that, or we had a little shrine for him for a while. So there was that picture of him from the hindquarters, on the top of the steps, and his leash and a collar and some other little pictures of him. And now that's not there anymore because we didn't need it. So it's sort of an evolution.
Thanks for listening. Compassion and listening are so valuable in bringing healing to our lives after loss. So, how about you? Do you have a story about something that reminds you of a special someone, a beloved pet, an event, or a place that brings comfort? Please contact Memento Mori Stories through this podcast or our Facebook or Instagram pages. I would love to hear from you.